Norman Osborn is maybe pulling the strings behind J Jonah Jameson's dailybugle.net.
Just like he did in the video game with his podcast, Just the Fact. I think he's going to be controlling all the media.
I actually think this is the same exact JJJ from the Sam Raimi universe, not knowing that he's actually in the MCU now.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. This is Rogue Theory. J Jonah Jameson is webbing the Spider-Verse even more tightly to catch himself a couple flies, with JK Simmons confirming he filmed a mystery scene for an upcoming film. Mystery just because, you know, we don't know what it is, so all unknowns are mysteries here at New Rockstars, and we got the scoop! I'm Erik Voss. Going rogue remotely with me today are off-screen and now increasingly on-screen producer Zach Huddleston. Welcome back.
Hello, Eric. Great to see you remotely. We only live a few miles apart, but we only connect via computer screen now. Namaste, my friend. Shout out Bill's Mafia. Who sent me this jersey, and I'm excited to be here.
Oh, excited to have you back. Also with us is newcomer, college humor comedian, and a good bud from my past and hopefully present and future sketch team, sketch comedy, live theater work, Jessica Clemmons. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Anytime to talk about JK Simmons, I am on top of it. And also, I'd like to say shout out to my family in the picture in the background. Good people, I promise.
You just put up that picture for this show. There was no way that was hanging there. The symmetry is all off now. Also, very excited to have you with us, a YouTuber with all the nerdy scoops that you can find on YouTube, Mr. Cosmic Warren Thompson. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. This is awesome. I watch you guys, look up to you guys. This is just fantastic. I'm super excited. If we're doing shout outs, thank you to Christopher Rosser, he's my editor. He works with me a lot on my channel. And to the Real Rejects for introducing us. Awesome guys.
Oh, those guys are awesome. Where would we be without the Real Rejects? And you know what? Where would we be without editors? John, don't do any sass talk in post-production to that. Just show any love. All right, let's dive into it. J.K. Simmons said in an interview this week that he has already filmed another appearance as J. Jonah Jameson, and folks, we knew this was coming. J.K. didn't just jump Spider-verses from the Raimi movies to the MCU for a simple one and done Far From Home post-credit cameo. No, there is a plan for this InfoWars madman to bridge the Spider-Verse together. So I ask my panel, I want you to pitch me your theory for this mystery scene or subplot that J.K. Simmons has filmed. What movie is it going to be in? How will J. Jonah Jameson tie into the plot? And how did he get from the Raimiverse into the MCU or SPUMC, Sputnik? We don't really know how to say it. Warren, you want to jump in?
Absolutely. So, okay. I think that ultimately the next Avengers Endgame level event is going to end with Avengers Secret Wars Battleworld, and that's where all of the different multiverses, all the different universes combine into one. So, I think that after Avengers Endgame, this has already started to happen. I think after the snap and people are come back, I think people came back to the wrong universes. And I actually think this is the same exact JJJ from the Sam Raimi universe, not knowing that he's actually in the MCU now and the SPUMC now. I think that the coincidence that Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness now, and the fact that in his original trilogy he mentioned Doctor Strange is, I don't think it's that much of a coincidence. I think this is planned. I think ultimately this is going to lead up to Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Tom Holland Spider-Man meeting each other, because I think Tobey's Spider-Man gets pulled back too with MJ, but he realizes, hey, there's a new Spider-Man in this universe. I can stop being Spider-Man. I can finally take a step back. I can finally be with my wife, and I can live a normal life. But then when everything starts kind of going to hell in Phase 4, he realizes, I can't sit back anymore, I have to go. Then he goes and sees Doctor Strange, and then ultimately leads back to the moment where the classic meme that we all love, and he sees Spider-Man and they go, and that's what we get.
That's awesome. So you're thinking this could be a scene, maybe a post-credit scene for Multiverse of Madness? Just get Raimi to take care of this because no one knows how to work with JK Simmons like Sam Raimi. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're in for either, like you said, either a post-credit scene or like a small little cameo that's just explaining that other things have happened in the universes, but now they're all kind of forming into one, and that could be like just the tip off the end of Doctor Strange 2, right?
I love that, Warren, and I love that we're already starting off super rogue. Like here, I came in here thinking that we were just gonna be doing, it's gonna be just something at the end of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, or Morbius, places that could go on their own, pretty rogue, pretty crazy, and Warren comes in guns a-blazing with multiverse action. We're not even doing on the Sony side of things. We're just going straight to the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Sam Raimi, give him the keys, and giving Tobey Maguire a lot of acting to do, which I have no complaints of. Yeah, me too. Well, as I issued as an edict last week, we are doing the scoring differently. Normally, you are awarded Rogie points for your theory. All of you are starting with 10 Rogie points. That is your starting point. That's your allowance for this, and I will deduct Rogie points based off of the gripes that I have with your theories. So, Warren, overall, I very much like your theory, and anything with multiverse in there, I am game for. However, I must deduct 1 Rogie Sparklebuck before this idea that Sam Raimi somehow, back in the early 2000s, predicted that there would be a Marvel Cinematic Universe and slipped in that Doctor Strange taken line back in those movies, just in the off chance. Or maybe it was...
Maybe I'll come back and maybe...
Yeah, maybe he looked ahead in the future and this was 1 out of 14,605 futures. He's like, just in case, I'm going to put it in a Doctor Strange thing.
Just in case.
In case Scott Derrickson wants to put the devil in the movie and Kevin Feige's like, oh no, China's not going to distribute a movie with the devil in it. And then he gets fired and they're like, let's bring in Sam Raimi to do it. Hey, it worked out. But just a bit too much of a stretch, so you lose 1, but you still have 9.
Not so shiny, though.
Yes, I think that's fair. All right, who is next?
I can go next. Okay,
All right.
what I think JK Simmons is doing when he comes in playing Triple J. So I think, it's so hard now after listening to Warren's and being like, ooh, I agree with all of that. And but I believe that with a nod to the PlayStation 4 video game, I think that he is going to make a small cameo appearance, just like he did in the video game with his podcast, Just the Fact. I think he's going to be controlling all the media. And I think by controlling all the media, I think he's just going to be featured on, okay, so this is what I'm going to say. I think that it's going to, when it starts with, his revealing who Peter Parker is, I think he's going to go straight to the Daily Bugle and be like, it could be, honestly, out of his garage. We don't know, because he sounds like in that clip that is kind of mimicking InfoWars, he could be anywhere.
Yeah, we could be anywhere right now. This is as legit as it gets now.
Truly. And so, but I do think that it will come with him running straight to Triple J and being like, why did you do that? Why did you out me like that? And he's just like, you're a menace. I don't like you. I never liked you. I never liked your work. But I do think he's going to be the same Triple J that Sam Raimi made. I think it's just because you can tell also by the stinger, he lost all his hair. He's aging. So it's just like, if they bring in, and this is also Spider-Man, the newer Spider-Man, the Spider-Man 3, after Far From Home. Right. That I think it would be in, because I think that they would still put him in the same world. I think he'd still be that, and I think because he's aging, and we see that aging, I think so is technology, and so now instead of doing newspapers, he's on digital trying to make an InfoWars style spoof and just talking mad crap about Spider-Man. So I think it will be just small cameos, but it'll be after that interaction, it'll be when he's saving someone, swinging down and hears it in the car, and he's like, "Gah!" Or when he's running through a kitchen, obviously, because there's always a kitchen running scene, and the chefs are listening to it in the background. And so that's where I think JK Simmons will play.
I love that, Jessica, and I love going right to those closing moments at the end of Far From Home, because it's kind of like how Incredibles 2 opened right in that final battle with the Underminer. Yeah, why not? He's in the middle of Manhattan. Everyone's just gonna look up at that light pole and be like, hey, you Pete Parker? That's you? So it's some Southern tourist who's there, because New Yorkers know to avoid Penn Station. Yeah, they're not gonna get off at Penn Station, walk around if they don't have to. So let's start right there and just see him swing over to the Daily Bugle, or try to find, triangulate where this guy's broadcasting from to stop that, because just having JK Simmons in whatever garage he's in, being pervasive, that's the biggest kind of threat, right? His podcast, you cannot stop that once it goes out to the airwaves. How much has he recorded already? Because, we bank content like crazy on this show. We got thousands of hours of content that we could just drop out there. If you try to stop us, if you try to censor us, YouTube, we're going to find some new platform, and you cannot silence us. You cannot silence us. No, but like
you're a madman.
I am
Taking
totally,
away points this time, cutting throats.
I am deep in the rabbit hole, my friends. It's a scary time. But I think that is like the most fun way. I do, unfortunately, Jessica, have to deduct 1 point from you because this idea of he's aging, was that deliberate or was that just JK Simmons getting older?
They told him to age on purpose. It's perfectly viable.
Life is an Easter egg.
The same, it's just that they took away the wig, which honestly I needed in the older Spider-Man. I was like, this wig is all over the place. I get it.
Wait, you think that was a wig?
No,
I didn't think that was a wig. Oh, I just thought he dyed his hair and he buzzed it up like that.
That's what I
JK
thought.
Simmons has been totally bald for like 30 years. Like in Oz or whatever, he was totally bald.
No.
Are you saying the yellow M&M did not have to shave his head in that Santa Claus commercial? I don't believe it. My mind was just blown. Well, you know what, Jessica? For that, because my mind is blown and I didn't expect that, you get your point back. I'm giving you your point back. Yeah. So you're back at 10.
Back. All right.
All right, Zach. What have you got?
Okay, so my theory is, and like obviously everybody's made the new J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson, like Alex Jones connection, right? InfoWars, which by the way, how have none of us done the Spinfo Wars?
Oh, the Spinfo Wars.
Fun. Anyways, okay. But
Now, stop the video.
Circle
Go
R.
do it now.
But I even want to go to like somebody adjacent to that, Harvey from TMZ, right? I think there's a chance, because like I don't think Alex Jones has never broken a story, right? He's not even pretending to be a reporter unless you consider the gay frogs a story that he broke, right? Whereas like, you know, Harvey and TMZ, like they actually like they were the first people to report about Kobe Bryant's death,
Yeah,
and like
they're on the front
they actually
lines.
break some really big stories, especially now that everything is on a cell phone camera, right? And they kind of buy up all the footage, right? Whether you're buying from Quentin Beck Mysterio or somebody, you know, some kid, you know, some 13-year-old with his iPhone. And so I think that is kind of going to be the role he plays, with kind of like Jessica said, like showing up in little vignettes on TV screens, maybe like, you know, as reported by in you know, on computers or something like that. But I think we're also going to discover that kind of like, you know, Alex Jones in real life, Julian Assange in real life, even these people that claim to be about like telling the truth have their own agendas. And often those agendas are like interlinked with making money, right? Alex Jones is like, the aliens and the Illuminati, whatever, buy my vitamins, right? Like, I think that's what J. Jonah Jameson is going to be like, right? He's trying to, you know, he has like an anti-Spider-Man agenda. He's always had that, right? But he also is trying to make a buck, not only through getting views, getting more attention for his website, but also he's being paid off. Okay, and this is, I think, the important part. This starts to come out maybe at a post-credit scene in Morbius, gets fleshed out in Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. But I think we're going to get the SPUMC's first big bad, and I think it's going to be Norman Osborn of Oscorp. Okay, shout out to my buddy on Patreon, the Discord, Ruby, who kind of inspired this idea, right? That Norman Osborn is maybe pulling the strings behind J. Jonah Jameson's dailybugle.net, right? Like, you know, slanting his reporting to be anti-Spider-Man and all of this, because he's already developing this anti-Spider-Man agenda that will build over the course of like all of these Spider-Man adjacent movies.
Awesome. I love that idea of Norman Osborn or Oscorp being behind it. You know, when we rewatched Ant-Man and the Wasp, there was that whole like backstory with Sonny Burch's character, and he's like, I have my buyers, they're very opinionated, or My buyers are very selective. The people, like, we never found that out, which is crazy to me that, like, that was introduced and then never answered. But I guess it didn't matter, that story. But, like, yeah, I think there is going to be some kind of, like, big new financial industry, especially Stark Industries is still around, but there's going to be some big new arms dealer competitor, and I see Oscorp filling that void. And I know that's the MCU versus the SPUMC, but with, you know, Michael Keaton and both of them, we don't really know where that border is. I do love that idea of, like, who is funding JK Simmons, like, because it seems like there is a difference between the dailybugle.net versus, like, the Daily Bugle print. Maybe you just bought that domain name early, and the idea he could be the kind of the media arm, the marketing division of Oscorp to, like, destabilize the world is very cool. You lose a point that I'm just going to give to Ruby because Ruby also helped come up with
Fair
that.
enough.
That's okay.
Fair enough. Co-author.
Ruby
Yeah.
gets the ruby-colored sparkle, and that's in the Ruby bank.
Great. Also, I love Erik since the last time I was on this show, and I have to think this is a direct reaction to when I host the show and I'm the biggest softie. I give everybody all the points all the time. That this is now you course correcting from all the mistakes I've made
Yes.
on Rogue Theory.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
I'm the Robin Hood. I'm stealing from. Well, I'm stealing from people who have nothing. I'm just a thief.
So what happens when we run out of points?
You have to become an indentured servant, and I will keep a record. I have a notebook,
Gotcha.
and I'm going to say what you have to work off with future theories.
You owe
Gotcha.
Erik 5 Batman theories.
Oh, easy one.
She's like, watch me lose right now. I'm about to lose this to give you all your theories right now.
Oh my dear, watch this. One thing go off.
Jessica already has 10. You can't possibly have more than 10. 10's the limit. Like that's, you can't gain more than 10 because I don't have more. I don't have more Sparkle Bugs. And since Zach, you mentioned Ruby's theory. This is because every week we play Rogue Theory with our patrons on New Rockstars Discord. And we didn't know we were going to be talking about this last week when we gave this to our patrons to talk about. But yeah, they all came up with some really great JK Simmons, J Jonah Jameson theories for where he's going to appear next. Ruby mentioned Norman Osborn, which I think was a really great theory. Connor had some great ideas where Eddie Brock was working with J Jonah Jameson. But really the winner of our Discord challenge was Un Pantalone, who won with this really fun theory that explains why J. Jonah Jameson outed Peter Parker in Far From Home, that there was like a story behind that, and basically he's breaking the Sinister Six out of prison. And at the end of this theory, this is where I think makes it the true Rogue Theory. He gets turned into a vampire by Morbius, and he is hunted down in that movie's post-credit scene by Blade. Which I'm like, ooh, anyway, you can get Mahershala Ali as Blade in this universe.
You're gonna win.
You're gonna win. What did you guys think of that theory? I know, Zach, you definitely saw it.
Yeah, I love it. I also love any theory that is like legally and financially impossible. There's no way that Marvel will let that happen, but I don't care. That's what I love. I love it when you go big.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Anytime you put Blade in something, I'm in it. That's such a wild theory. It's so smart though.
Yeah.
That's why I like it. It's so wild, but like I'm like, yeah, that should happen. It could happen. It should happen. I like that a lot.
That's a shoulda, not a coulda, for sure.
Right.
Now, for all of you watching, you can play this too. You can have your theory read on a future episode of Rogue Theory just by becoming a patron of New Rockstars and joining our Discord. If you want to join this Discord community, you got to become a patron. It's one of the things that keeps the lights on in our garage or bunker or whatever undisclosed location we are shooting from. So let us now move on to some people who helped make this episode possible. Thank you to our sponsor, ShipStation. If you are an e-commerce seller, right now is a wild time, and ShipStation is here to help. When we've tried to ship things in the past, like New Rockstars merch, it can get confusing figuring out what has shipped, what hasn't, and where it's stuck in the delivery process, and how much it all costs. Well, ShipStation clears all that up for you. Helps online sellers of any size get orders out quickly, save money on shipping costs, and then keep customers happy. They'll get you the shipping rates normally reserved for Fortune 500 companies. It's the fastest, easiest, and most affordable way to manage and ship your orders. Just a few clicks and you'll be managing your orders, printing out labels, and getting your product to happy customers. ShipStation makes it easy. They work with all the major carriers like UPS and FedEx, And their interface brings your products together, whether you're selling them on Etsy, Amazon, or your own website. ShipStation's the #1 choice for online sellers. You'll ship more in less time with the best rates available. And right now, you can try ShipStation for free for 60 days when you use our offer code ROGUE. Make sure your business is ready to meet the demands of delivery culture. Get started at ShipStation.com today. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in ROGUE. That's ShipStation.com and use the offer code ROGUE. ShipStation.com. Make ship happen. We also want to thank Keeps for helping sponsor this episode. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35, and losing your hair can be a bummer. With Keeps, it's easier and more affordable to get the treatment for your hair loss and help you keep the hair that you have already. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there, but at half the cost of your local pharmacy. And you don't have to go to the doctor's office. You can do it all from home. You meet with a doctor online, and they ship the treatment right to your home. Find out why Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, and nearly 100,000 men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention medication. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, just go to keeps.com/roguetheory to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's KEEPS.com/roguetheory. All right, on to our next topic. Folks, we heard reports this week that Michael Keaton is in talks to play an older Bruce Wayne figure, maybe, in the upcoming Flash movie. And you can add this to rumors that Jeffrey Dean Morgan could be reprising Thomas Wayne from Batman v Superman in a possible Flashpoint Thomas Wayne Batman role. Look, there's a lot of reports and stuff out there. I broke it all down in another video. It doesn't mean that, like, we're not getting another Batman, because the whole point of Flashpoint is, like, there's alternate universes in a multiverse coming together. You can get all your Batman if you want them in this movie. It's possible. But I wanted to ask you guys, assuming that, you know, Flash will be opening up the DC movies to DC multiverse with past Batman and Batman villains, what other surprise cameo from past movies would you like to see in this movie?
Oof. Personally, I want to see Mr. Freeze come back.
Mr.
I want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. I want him to play the role as Mr. Freeze. What else?
Wait, okay, so let's dig into this. You think you want Arnold Schwarzenegger, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, to come back, to go bald, turn frosty blue, with lots of nice freeze puns, in just a quick cameo? Or do you want them to live in this refrigerator for, like, you know, a subplot of the movie?
I want them to be in the movie. I want them to play a solid character in the movie. And I know what people are thinking. They're like, please no. But I'm like, no, I need this. I would rather that than a cameo. I think he has time, right? What is he doing?
He does, like, show up and stuff. Like, he'll keep making Terminator movies. This guy's got time on his hands.
We got Expendables like 12 by now.
Hell yeah.
He could do it.
He loves being nostalgic. So I feel like we could easily pitch this to him and be like, come on, play this role. It's very good. Jessica Clemmons really wants it.
Well, Jessica Clemmons, I will have to deduct 2, just because I am cold as ice when it comes to delivering these. And slide like ice out of an ice tray. You see, I can't even do it. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's clever. That was clever. So you get one of them back. You get one back.
Ooh,
but you still lose
nice
one.
Recovery.
You still lose one. All right, who's next? Who else should we see in this Flash multiverse of the DC world?
I would just really, really love to see the Riddler, Jim Carrey, Batman Forever. I would love to see him come back. I feel like he's done a lot right now. He's ageless, like we kind of talked about. The guy doesn't age. I feel like he could just come in. I feel like the Riddler almost is Jim Carrey in, like, real life, just really, just kind of out there. But I'd love to see him come back and just be like, riddle me this, riddle me that. And Batman turns around. Who's afraid of the big black bat? I think it would just be so awesome. And I think at the end of Batman Forever, he's like, why can't I kill you? It would be awesome if he's like, I couldn't kill the other one, but I could kill you. Something like that, since, you know, the multiverse and something like that, you know? So.
Oh, I would enjoy that. You know what we really just need is we need to visit the Arkham Asylum of like the
Ooh.
Burton and Shoemaker Batman movies. So you could just slip in a lot of these guys because like we were talking before the episode, like I accidentally quote Jim Carrey's Riddler all the time. Just like when people ask me if I remember something, I'll whisper to myself, how could I forget? And just like that version of him in his like prison garb where he's cosplaying as Batman. Hi, I'm Batman. Like that's the version of him. I don't need green jumpsuit with orange crazy hair Riddler. I need that kind of like
Dazzles on his face. Like,
yeah, maybe he can be like fantasizing that, but really we cut to him and he's like in his cold, like, which is not humane treatment at all. That's like a 19th century pre-reform haunted asylum. That's not okay. No one's getting mentally healthy in those places. That's a hole to die in. Okay, Warren, were you gold? I think you were gold.
Gold.
You know what? I will deduct 2. 2.
Oh wait, I was blue. Hold
You
on.
were blue? You were blue.
No.
Who's gold? Who's gold? No, you almost had me. You know what? You're losing 3 now for trying to trick the host. You lose 3.
In my
That's it.
defense, I forgot Jessica was blue. I was going for that. Sorry, Zach.
I know.
Nice try. No. We see what you're doing, Cosmic Warren. All right, Zach.
Okay, Chairman Voss. Thank you for calling on me. I'll just bring up this point real quick. Let it be known, both Warren's pick and Jessica's pick, those 2 villains were not in Michael Keaton movies, okay? Boom. Whereas the person I want to bring back, the character and the actor were. I want to bring back Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, okay?
Okay.
She has said over the years, she still thinks back fondly on the role, not the costume
No, not the
necessarily,
costume.
but the role in general, right? She's, often like interviewed about it or quoted, like she had great stuff to say about Zoe Kravitz getting cast in the Batman as the role, and like, but she looks back fondly on it and she's like, oh, I'd love to be Catwoman again someday or something like that. And we know she's down for superhero movies recently. I mean, appearing in Ant-Man and the Wasp, right, as Janet Pym. So that also gives us, just like Michael Keaton now exists in the DCU and the MCU, as would Michelle Pfeiffer, is different characters, right? And it also makes kind of an in-universe sense. I think it was at least alluded to in the Tim Burton Batmans that not only did she survive Batman Returns, we saw her like at the end, like looking at the bat symbol in the sky, but like, there was a romantic relationship there. I think even it's kind of canon, like Robert Wool's reporter character, I think either in the Catwoman movie or like maybe in the Arrowverse crossover hinted that like she ended up with Bruce Wayne, right? They married and were together.
Right. Yeah.
So like maybe this same, Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne, this is like she's gotten to live happily ever after with him, right? And she's kind of his badass, like also fighting, wife figure.
Okay.
So I want Michelle Pfeiffer. So maybe however Michael Keaton's going to show up as this kind of older mentor who might be from an alternate universe, I think his partner is Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Okay, Zach, I can see that. Especially with Michael Keaton coming involved. If Michelle Pfeiffer, Selena Kyle was just there, feeding some cats in the background, that seems to be the most plausible and the most interesting. Like, I don't think anybody wants to stitch Michelle Pfeiffer back in that costume, which they had to stitch her into it. It was so unpleasant for her.
No. Well, in the same way, poor Michael Keaton doesn't want to be in the no-move neck
Right.
bat costume.
However, Zach, I will have to deduct some points. I have to, because you tried to butter me up at the beginning by saying, thank you for calling on me, Chairman Voss. I am not Chairman. I am Boy King, Erik Voss. I am Boy King. Boy King! And you're losing one. You also called her Janet Pym, and she's Janet Van Dyne, my friend. She did not take her husband's name. She's Janet Van Dyne. They are partners. They are progressive, especially for the 80s. 1987, not an easy time to stick with your maiden name, but yet she did. And Hope Van Dyne, she took her mother's name out of hatred for her senile father, who's crazy, crazy in the MCU. So you lose another one, but you get to keep the rest. Those are my gripes, because otherwise, Selena Kyle. Yeah, we need to see more of her in there. Okay, folks, we have now arrived at our final round, Rogue Questions. Based off of my math, Jessica, you have 9 remaining. Warren, you have 6 remaining. And off-screen producer Zach, you have 7 remaining. Yet, all things can change with if you have terrible questions that I have gripes over. I will deduct so freaking much. It'll make your head spin. All right, Rogue question number 1. The Duffer Brothers teased this week that the next season of Stranger Things will have a couple celebrity cameos from the 80s. Who do we most want to see show up in Stranger Things 4?
I really want to see who I think would be so iconic for the 80s, Christian Slater. Hear me out. He's iconic for the 80s, and he loves doing like roles that are like in this realm. He loves coming back to, and also we want a Heather's reunion. We want to see them see them again. So I think for an 80s icon, I think Christian Slater is like number 1 for me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, well, I mean, so many ideas came up, and I was like, oh, we know at least part of the season's set in Russia. So I was like, Yakov Smirnoff seems like a prime candidate there. Though the Duffers were also quoted as saying it was great to meet their heroes, and I don't know if anybody's identifying Yakov Smirnoff as their hero. But I do think certainly a hero of the Duffer Brothers, and like so fitting for a movie that's all about like 80s nostalgia. I'm going to say Steven Spielberg might show up.
No, Spielberg's great. Getting, you think the actual director, Steven Spielberg, is someone who plays 80s Spielberg?
Oh, well, I was going to say real Spielberg, but not as himself, just as like, a hot dog stand vendor or something like that,
Yeah. A shark enthusiast, Steven Spielberg, yeah.
Yeah. We got to open the beach. Yeah.
All right, Warren, who do you think?
So my dad loved classic 80s movies. He made me watch a ton, and I would just absolutely love to see either Bill Murray or Steve Martin. I love those guys. I think they're hilarious. I think 80s, when I think of them, all of their movies, Sergeant Bilko, Stripes, movies like that. I just think they're so good, and they're just such iconic people. I don't know if you'd have somebody play the younger versions of them, or you just have them cameo in there. I'm not sure which way you go, but I think seeing them would just be like, that's classic 80s. I would love it.
Guys, I'm trying to think. I think in all of your situations, like, because Stranger Things is so referencey, all of your people, like, exist in that universe. So, like, they love Ghostbusters. They went cosplaying as Ghostbusters. I think in Stranger Things season 2 or 3, Yakov Smirnoff gets referenced, like, when they talk to the Russia guy. Obviously, Spielberg does, because they have, like, Jaws posters. So, like, it'd be crazy to have, like, characters who exist in that world, like, they're also, the actors come in. Yeah, it'd be like a crazy, like a Danny Glover and Maverick moment where they, they look at each other. That's the craziest crossover in all time. We all remember Maverick. Yep. All right, question 2. Mark Hamill recently revealed that he has had secret VO cameos in every Star Wars movie besides the prequels. It actually included a droid bartender in The Mandalorian. Where would we be most surprised to find a Mark Hamill voiceover cameo?
Oh.
I chose what I'd be surprised to see him in, but I also wouldn't kind of be that surprised. I'd be like, oh yeah, they're good at getting good people. Is Steven Universe.
Oh yeah. So what would that look like?
So I think, so like in Steven Universe, how they have Nicki Minaj play like a mixture of when Amethyst and Garnet combine together. I think this one would be Lapis Lazuli, who is actually like, for people that don't know Steven Universe, she's kind of a sadder character. I think her mixed in with Paradox, who's a more technical computer skilled character. When they fuse together, I think that would be Mark Hamill's voice. I think it would be Mark Hamill.
I love it. All right, who's next?
I think I would be most surprised if he shows up in Doc McStuffins as like a troll doll come to life, but that sounds exactly like the Batman animated series Joker.
I love it.
I thought the question was, I thought we were looking for his actual secret cameos, because he said like he does the voiceovers in every episode. He does them in each film but the prequels, is what he said. There's a secret voiceover in each one. So sorry, that's what I thought we were talking about.
Did you do homework? Did you find Mark Hamill's cameo?
I don't know if I found him. It's very tricky because he said, look for scenes with Patrick Williams. And then it's actually a pseudonym. Like, he doesn't exist. So you're like, okay. So I tried to do as much research as I can. And what I thought it would be cool for him to be voiceover is the Stormtrooper TR-8R. And it's in The Force Awakens. It's the Stormtrooper who Finn fights when Finn has the lightsaber.
Raider!
I think it would be cool if that was him because, you know, he's Luke Skywalker. He's like the Jedi. He brought balance to the Force. And he's like the good guy that he could, you know, do a voiceover, he said, and, you know, stunt double doing the fighting. But just that little thing. I looked at a few other things and I'm just like, I don't know who he is. But I think it would be cool if he like played an evil stormtrooper, calling him a traitor.
Yeah, Warren, for going to the lengths of trying to find Easter eggs, I think I have to deduct points from the other two, just for not going.
So sorry.
So I think we lose a blue, and I think Zach loses a point as well. So things are getting even.
Eric,
I'm
you have no
sorry.
idea how many Doc McStuffins episodes I watched as research, okay?
I don't want to know. All right, on to our third and final rogue question. Joel Schumacher passed away this week, R.I.P. He's the director of many films, including Batman Forever, and, well, the little-loved Batman and Robin that featured Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, as Jessica well knows. And, you know, of course, Mr. Freeze delivered the best assortment of awful cold puns. In your best Arnold voice, I would like you to give me a Mr. Freeze cold pun.
Let's kick some ice. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's right.
Kick some ice.
Okay, I wrote an original here for this.
Oh.
Okay, so it's like Mr. Freeze has like, you know, he's got his like freeze ray or whatever on Batman. He's about to pull the trigger to kill him, and he's like, "You could have saved the money by coming on Tuesday, because I give violence free on Tuesday." Free on?
Free on.
Okay, you know what? It's hard to write. It's hard to write good ones.
You have to see it written down, I think, right?
Yeah. Okay, here, here's a different one.
Oh, okay.
Pretend the Rion one didn't happen. Okay, so he's got his freeze ray on Batman. He's about to kill him, and Batman says, like, "Boy, how cold are you?" And Mr. Freeze goes, "I measure temperature in degrees Kelvin." Instead of Kelvin.
Oh, that? Oh, no.
I would have never known that. My favorite line, and I can't do any accent, so please give me credit for trying. Is, do you know?
Give it to her.
I'm gonna get, okay. No, I got it. He says, "Do you know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age." He shoots his laser into the sky. And that is it.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
That is it. It's a very stupid pun, but I liked it a lot because I was like, Mr. Freeze, you're crazy.
It is a crazy one, and I think because Zach is the only one who did come up with such original ones, he did do a lot of work for this. I'm deducting points from Jessica and from Warren on that, but because Zach didn't know when to stop, he's also losing one.
No.
So I believe our final scores are off-screen producer Zach has 5 points. The Cosmic Warren has 5 points, and Jessica Clemmons has 7 points.
Whoa!
Making you our winner of today's episode of Rogue Theory. Congratulations, Jessica. Do you have a wish that you would like to request from us?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, yes. And I thought about it, and I want everyone to say happy birthday to me in their best impression of the Riddler. Like, I need like a little bit of sass on it. It's not my birthday.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. What day falls on January 10th? Your birthday! Happy birthday, Jessica!
Okay, how about something like, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the universe? Is that the wrong Jim Carrey?
It might be the wrong movie.
Happy birthday!
It is, but it's so good. It's still a Riddler thing to do.
It would be. Yeah, no, it would be.
So for your birthday message, imagine that you have a big birthday cake being carted in, but there's like just a rubber slit right in the middle of it. So I'm gonna come out and say, "Happy birthday!"
For Ace Ventura.
That's yeah.
Ace Ventura Riddler. I love it. I need it.
Well, that's it for this episode of Rogue Theory. I want to give a big thanks to all of our guests. Off-screen producer Zach Huddleston.
Thanks for having me.
Cosmic Warren, anything you want to shout out, my friend?
No, thank you to everybody who supported my channel this far, my friends, my family, especially. They've helped me come a long way. And again, huge fan of New Rockstars. Love you guys. So it's an absolute honor being on the show.
Yeah, we're big fans of you too, man. And be sure to subscribe to Cosmic Ward on YouTube. Information on your screen. It's a great channel. Lots of great stuff there. And of course, our winner today, Jessica Clemmons. Congratulations and thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
I've done some really fun sketch work and plays with Jessica. So glad you could get on this show.
Of course. Anytime you want to talk like this, I'm down.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe to Rogue Theory on wherever you get your podcast. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel for this and other shows. You can follow me on Instagram at Erik Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Guys, see you next week. Bye-bye.